So today we do have a special guest, as always, Danny Lamb. Thank you so much for coming on. We met through our friend Mario's Instagram page, who is a new anti-bullying warrior, and he kindly shared a story with us and you as well. So how are you doing? How's your day going?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's 1 o'clock here in Niagara Falls, Canada. So I just been working away and having a great day so far.
Yeah, no. What else can you do? You just have to look forward for things always. You have to look at the positives
Heck
as
yeah.
well. So to start
Heck
this
yeah.
off, could you tell us a bit about your journey and how you came to be who you are?
Yeah, dude. Of course. So a big part of my journey is music. And I think if I came back to one thing that is a big part of who I am, it would be music and even closer even more specific than that is the voice and singing. I was 3 years old when I was diagnosed with a condition known as hydrocephalus, a brain condition, and I started singing when I was about 12. And little did I know at that time in life that singing would not only become something that I enjoy doing, but a big part of who I am as a human being, for my own well-being, but for also in working with young people, young musicians, young singers, young piano players, young artists, in the educational space, but then in the empowerment space and amplifying voices that aren't often heard or stories that go unnoticed. And I think, as I'm sure the both of you and I can relate, music is a beautiful way to connect people and amplify important messages and importance in the world.
Yeah, and it's truly great that from the age of 12, around my age, you didn't really know what was going to happen next, and now it's just
Yeah,
become such a massive part of your life. And it's just
yeah,
great to go into some things, not knowing what you're going to get out of it, and not knowing what's going to
yeah,
come into the future as well. And that is great. And it's so happy to see you getting involved with other people and trying to be an inspiration in that
yeah.
sort. I definitely I thank you so much for that as well. So, as we know, the world is going through not a happy time at the moment. And did you,
Yeah.
how did lockdown make you feel when it started?
Um, it's interesting because, like everyone, I was faced with this. Whoa, what do I do now? Um, I've often grown up believing and feeling like when you're faced with challenges, when you're faced with obstacles, when you're faced with barriers, there's two ways you can choose to kind of look at it. You can choose to look at that obstacle, look at that barrier, look at that challenge, and go, "This sucks." Which I definitely did, like everybody else.
Everyone
Thought,
did.
"Oh my God, this is hard. This sucks." And that's, I think, perfectly normal to feel and to embrace, because it's a challenging time. This is really hard. Once you've felt that, once you've kind of lived inside of that, oh my God, this sucks a little bit. Personally, I think it's then time to decide, cool, what can I actually do so that on the other end of this, because it will come to an end sometime, but what can I personally do at the end of this to be better than I was when we went into it? So during the time, with a bunch of my students, we created the COVID collaboration. We came into like a Zoom chat every Saturday, and we wrote a song. We wrote a song about exactly related to your question. How did you feel? We took all those feelings from our own households, different parts of the world, and we wrote our way through it. I've been writing songs since I was about 16. I lived in Brazil for a year, and that's where I really started to truly discover not only my passion for music, but my passion for the voice and songwriting. And so, as a songwriter today, one of the things that I haven't been good at is actually doing my own engineering. So recording my own music from the instrumentation to the vocals, to producing and engineering it. I can write the song, I can play the piano, I can play the guitar, I can sing the melodies, write all those things, but I couldn't, until now, record them for myself. So I have a barn here at my house, and so I spent a lot of time out in the barn figuring out, taking all these songs that I had written during lockdown, because there was little to do, learned how to take all these songs and actually record them, so that I could actually empower myself to then empower other people through music, if that makes sense. So
it does make sense.
I really just tried to, once I dealt with the feelings of like, this sucks, I tried to think, okay, cool, it sucks, but it sucks for everybody. It's not just me, it sucks for everybody. What am I gonna do to personally be better? What am I gonna do? Because I could sit in this woe is me mindset, or I could just do something about it. And I think that's important, is just like you're doing in terms of, connecting people and interviewing people and being proactive as opposed to reactive, which is incredible. And yeah, so that's what I tried to do.
Yeah, and especially you have to try and sort out your emotions before you start helping other people and speaking with other people. And that is exactly what you did. You got over that phase where, oh yeah, this is horrible, but then you realize that it's like this for everybody, and now it's time to try and make someone else's day a bit happier. So you've went through all of those emotions, and then you've decided to do something that you might have not done before, and that's when you've spoken to other people, and you've recorded your own music, and you've done amazing over lockdown as well. You've done what most people could wish to do in lockdown.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, thank you.
Oh
What
no,
are you
no, no,
trying to say?
Oh no, thank you. You're absolutely amazing, especially the work that you've done over lockdown. So going over lockdown and coronavirus, do you think that social media has become a bigger part of your life now, or do you reckon it stays the same?
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit, for sure. Quite honestly, Nick, to give you a little bit of my story and how it connects to being online and social media and all those things. I worked as a motivational speaker for a few years. I went to school for music, got my undergrad in music to become a music teacher, and then started teaching privately, and then got this job as a motivational speaker. So kind of pivoted, switched gears, moved to Toronto, and then I decided it's time to get back to a bunch of musical things that I was working on. So I moved back home, and it was actually then that I started to work a lot online, from teaching to teaching, I suppose. I was teaching a lot online, and that was well before the pandemic. So my being online and doing this a lot became super comfortable before the pandemic even started. But how social media, I think, plays into that is, being online, you start to recognize how powerful of a tool social media is, in two different ways. It can be super powerful in a positive way, and it can be super powerful in a negative way. And I often think of the Spider-Man saying, with great power comes great responsibility. And it's super cheesy, but it's super truthful. With great power does come great responsibility. And if you're online, there is power in what you post. There is power in what you put out through social media. And let's be honest, social media is one of those things in the world today, and it's only going to become stronger, that connects all of us in some way, shape, or form. A bunch of years ago, you and me couldn't have done this. But it's so cool through social media today, and incredible friends like Mario, and we'll talk about him, I'm sure, more after. But it's incredibly cool how that those relationships and this technology and social media has created these opportunities for beautiful things to be created, blossomed, and put into the world. And I think now more than ever, we need to practice that responsibility in social media and in what we post and in how we post it. And understanding that there's a lot of power in what we say and how we put that out into the world, which is another reason. And I'm going to throw props to you in terms of how incredible it is that you're doing what you're doing, because it's super, super, super important to do that. So I love that, because I think there's huge power, as I say, negatively or positively in social media. And I think it's so, so important to use it positively forward.
Yeah, exactly. And with social media, people can interpret what you say differently, whether in a bad or a good way. And so you have to be very explicit with the things that you say online as well, because it stays there forever. And, it can be used as a weapon against you, and it can be used as a tool to do exactly what you're doing and try and make this world a little bit better. So, yeah, social media is very strange in that way, because there are many people who use it for different things, and I definitely agree with you on that as well. And what you said was 100% right, of how we have to try and utilize it, because it's going to become a bigger thing by every single day that goes by, and we have to deal with it as well. So going off what you said about you earlier on, how you said that you were 12 and then you just started singing, and now it's brought you where you are today. So was there a group of people, was there that one person that motivated you and that really inspired you? So who inspires you? Or they could be someone that came along after your journey as well.
Man, I love your questions. You're really, really good at this. And I'm excited to see you on the BBC one of these days. You're really good at this. That list of people is like literally too long to fit into a Zoom call like this, but there are significant people that have been at the top of that list. Musically, I will say my first ever voice teacher has been a pretty significant person for me in not only developing my voice, but helping kind of mentor the direction that I'm kind of taking in music and life, period. I will forever remember her for creating a lot of different opportunities that led me to kind of the next step of my passion or my journey and pursuit in life, again, musically or not. There's one gig that she got me an audition for when I was 12 that I will never forget, because it was the very first moment where I felt the sheer power and weight of music, and the privilege that it was to have that power kind of flow through me. I got an audition with the Niagara Symphony, which is our local symphony, and it was a Christmas special. So we were singing, or it was a special around the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, and I got this gig singing with the symphony. And there's one section which was my section to shine, and I was kind of in the tunnel, not on the stage yet, and the symphony decrescendoed, so they got quieter, and then when they were like super quiet, that was my time to walk up through the tunnel and onto the stage. And so I did that. I turned and faced the audience, and then the symphony kind of swelled back in, and in that moment, the music was kind of crescendoing and getting louder again. I literally felt the music of the violins, of the timpani, of the all the other instruments move through the wood of the stage up my spine. And then I remember the moment just before I was needing to start to sing. I remember just thinking, even at 12 years old, oh my God, this is something I've never felt before. This is a power that is so incredible. So her name's Lisa Briand. She is somebody in my life that has been musically and in life an incredible mentor. And then I think the biggest mentors have been my family, my mom, my dad, my two brothers, and even all of our girlfriends. They've been huge mentors. My parents specifically, Ken and Diane Lamb, have always embedded in us the idea of kindness and positivity, and attitude is everything, and have really empowered us to shoot for the stars and to dream big, to dream selflessly, and to do what we can to be the best that we can, and create a legacy that affects more than just us, but that creates a ripple effect that people remember. So my parents are at the very top of that list, and then actually musically as well, one last one, I guess, to round it out at 3. Musically, my dad, and I don't know if you're a fan, but my dad for years taught me about U2 and Bono, and I fell in love with the music at an early age, but then I really fell in love with them, specifically through just learning about the different work and activism that each one of them as individuals do, but then what they really have done over the years as a band to do more than make music, but create a legacy that lives on through the music, for sure, but that empowers people. So my parents, Bono, and my first ever voice teacher, Lisa Brion, probably the 3 biggest. Yeah,
and I think whoever helps you in your life, you'll always remember them for the role that they played in who they made you today. And it's great to hear that from you, because everyone has their different answers, and it's just very interesting that I find that.
Yeah, dude.
So now this is more for the future. What are your goals for the near future?
Ooh, okay. So I had for the nearest future, myself and Mario of Stand With Mario, hashtag Stand With Mario. I had met Mario at a conference in Las Vegas for the first time a couple of years ago, where a young friend of mine, young singer-songwriter named M. Jordan, was singing. And I met Mario, and we continued to just develop a cool relationship back and forth. And the next time I saw him, he kind of sparked this song called The World Sees. And so I wrote it, we released it, and we've shot a little bit of a music video, which you're in. And we're creating this the World Sees campaign to sell some t-shirts and raise some money for what he is a huge champion of, Buddy Benches, which is a really cool campaign around anti-bullying, building community, building friendship, and creating community, essentially. So that's the most immediate. But what that on my end is going to go through is something called A Song a City, which is a small little initiative I created about 7 years ago that toured across the UK and Europe. And our goal was to write a song in every city we visited. So we started in Dublin. We then went to London. We spent some time in Peterborough. We went up to Edinburgh, spent some time in Glasgow. Then went to Amsterdam, Brussels, Belgium, and then finished in Izmir, Turkey, where we attended a conference hosted by the International Federation of Spina Bifida and Hydrocephalus, and it was there that we wrote our final song, People United for Spina Bifida and Hydrocephalus. And we wrote that song with 10 youth and young adults who live with the conditions as well. So moving forward to probably the next year or two, officially formalize A Song a City as a not-for-profit, to really start to use music as a way to empower people, community, and the world. So those are some things, and then on top of that, just writing a lot of songs and teaching a lot of music, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I can't even imagine how hard it is to write a song, and you are doing this initiative that it's amazing. It's like everyone has a story to tell, and it's all
Yeah.
so fascinating, and none are as important as the other, and that's what I say. And it's absolutely great to see the work that you're doing, and the journey it's taken here. Yeah, obviously Mario's a great guy. He has an amazing story to tell, and he definitely is an unsung hero in my eyes. And I suppose you are a hero to me as well because you've done a great work as well. So I know your time is very precious. So I'm going to.
Nick, sorry, can I just add one little piece to that?
Yeah, sure.
Because I really love and appreciate how much praise you're throwing at me. You're a lovely, lovely dude. But I will say one of the things that I'm most passionate about is the power of young people, is the power of young voices. I think too often in the world, we're looking to adults for the answers all the time. And certainly adults through lived experiences and through their own time in the world know a lot. For sure, they know a lot. But young folks like yourself know a lot as well. And you are a person living in the world right now. So you know what's going on. You have a sense of a lot of things that parents or adults don't have a sense of. So I'm a huge fan. As much as I love all the kindness you're throwing at me, I really love and appreciate it. I want to throw it back at you and just say a part of my mission statement is believing in the sheer power of young people to have important stuff to say. And so that's really what I love to amplify through the power of music, and even in the writing that I do with young folks. I don't ever like to throw words at them. I want their words, and I'll help them shape that into a song so that it's their words and not my words, because I don't know what you want to say. I don't know what Mario wants to say. I don't know these things. So as much as possible, I like to hear young people and hear their thoughts and know, not only know, but amplify what they have to say. Because young folks like yourselves know a lot. And I appreciate the work that you're doing because it's incredible work. And for every adult who says something like, "What's with young people today?" I'm like, well, I don't really know what young people you know. I know a lot of really great young people doing a lot of important stuff in the world. So, young people are pretty badass. Excuse my language for anyone watching. And so I appreciate the work that you're doing and
Thank
just
you.
continue to do it. Yeah.
Those words do mean a lot, especially from you. And you take those songs and you give those people their voice. And I didn't really have a voice when I was younger, and I expressed that
Yeah.
through art and singing. And you've
Yeah.
helped these people express their voice through your songs. So it's
Yeah.
definitely amazing to see you do that. And I especially know that your time is precious. So this will be my last question. Thank you so
Cool.
much for being on. So this one's quite a straightforward one. So, what
Yeah.
is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote. Um,
One that you've
I
made,
think,
or another one?
yeah, no. I think my favorite quote is probably a quote by Bono. Music can change the world because it can change people. I think music, first of all, I'm going to say, to chime in on your singing, you have a beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you.
I was raving on and on to your mom about it because, shoot, man, you can sing. You have a beautiful voice. I hope you continue to do that because it really is beautiful. And when you want to write some songs, you let me know. But music can change the world because it can change people, from Bono. Because I really am a huge fan of the things that music does to the brain, much like art and any art forms. It can really tap into places in the brain that we don't even know yet. It can really change people from,
Oh, yeah.
hearing a song on the radio and taking you back to a certain time in life that like inspired you, or allowing you to, remember things better, or allowing you to be more better in the maths and better in sciences and better in school, period. It can just help you be a better version of yourself. And I think in all of us being the best versions of ourselves possible, that's when we really start to see a positive shift in the world. That's when we truly start to see the world change. And so I carry a lot of weight, or I put a lot of weight in the saying music can change the world because it can change people. Because as overwhelming as changing the world is, I think it starts as small as human beings being the best versions of ourselves and putting the best versions of ourselves out into the world. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, and I suppose in a way that kind of, well, one of my favorite quotes is, if you wait to do everything for everybody rather than something for somebody, nothing will be done for nobody. And it's kind of like a tongue twister, but really what it's saying is one step at a time, one person at a time. If you try
Yeah.
to do everything at once, nothing will change. And music is what many people use as a comfort for them. And suppose you're reaching out to one person at a time, and eventually they will spread your word as well, and they will spread that music, and they will spread the reasoning and the meaning behind that song as well, and it will eventually change the world for the better. So yeah,
Heck yeah.
it's an amazing quote that you said, and yeah, I can definitely see many people living by it as well. So
Heck
you've
yeah, man.
done absolutely amazing today. Thank you so much for this interview. It's been
Thank
so
you.
much fun speaking with you, and
Thank
we'll definitely stay in touch for the future as
you.
well. And yeah, I wish you the best of luck with everything that you do as well in the future as well. Is there anything else that you would like to say before we end this up?
I just can't wait to get back to the UK, and I can't wait to collaborate with you in person.
Yeah, yeah, I can't wait for that as well. You know, you're such an amazing person. I can't believe all of the work
Likewise.
you do. And
Likewise.
yeah, thank you so much. It's been
Thank you.
amazing.